within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
He swings away, launches a ball down the line, and fair ball! Goodbye, three-run homer! Who cares if he wasn't in the lineup originally? He is now, and he's heading home with an Orioles lead.
Oh, how about you, Coby Mayo, huh? Boy, is he fired up, and that had to feel good, folks. Boy, he got him a little bit of a hanging breaking ball and just buried it right down the line. Coby Mayo's 4th long ball of the year, his 15th RBI, and ain't the beer cold tonight.
Yeah, Weaver for Coby Mayo last night after Samuel Basayo was scratched. He goes into the lineup and makes the most of it as he delivers to the Orioles a 3-2 win over the Yankees. Their first lead that they've had all season against the Yankees. Their first win of the year against the Yankees. Their first win against a left-handed starter on the season. And it felt like
barely.
I mean, pulling hairs, like you needed a magic in order for it to happen, but it happened, and that's
Tyler
all
O'Neill was playing defense.
Yeah, he did. He made a nice catch. Yeah, good morning. It's a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin and Coby Mayo. Look, honest to God, like I almost feel bad that it's not any of the pitchers because all three of them, and maybe even an argument for Nunez too, but any of the other three, to me, easily deserve man of the match consideration. Brandon Young keeping him in the game into the 6th inning against the Yankees. Dietrich ends obviously getting 5 outs, including an absurd barehanded grab on the Pete Alonso play that prevented a run, right? Like if he doesn't catch that ball, that's a 3rd run. And then Rico Garcia facing the most difficult part of the Yankees order. Them going to him in the 8th inning because they recognize now you got to give credit to Craig Albernez. I know we're all kind of like, do we know if Craig Albernez is a manager or not? And we don't, but
that was a shrewd move.
That was a heck of a decision to say, hey, the leverage spot might not be the 9th inning tonight. The leverage spot is here because it's Ben Rice and it's Aaron Judge. And
Bellinger.
Right, Cody Bellinger after Aaron Judge. I'm like, why did I blank on who was after Aaron Judge? So let's go get him now with our best reliever. And that's exactly what Rico Garcia did. And to take nothing away from Anthony Nunez, who had some hiccups recently, but has bounced back and certainly looked very good in the 9th. Lots of good. So I feel bad that none of the pitchers are the ones who get their picture up on the board. But obviously, you hit a dramatic late 3-run homer, you're probably going to get your picture on the board.
I was trying to find a picture we could put him up there with his dog, but I guess I couldn't.
Right, that's right. We found out that his puppy has been what's gotten him through the difficult times. So, yeah, the Orioles win, which is fun. And obviously, if you're watching the game, it's fun. And it's nice to beat the Yankees and all of those things. What did we learn? What matters big picture?
Rico Garcia's good.
I don't think that's what we learned. I think we knew that about Rico Garcia. I mean, that was obviously the best that Dietrich ends.
Yeah.
I mean, comes back. What exactly is Dietrich ends as he returns? Well, I mean, he was a leverage guy a year ago in games that didn't really matter, and maybe he's showing that he can be a leverage guy in games that do matter. We'll see how much the games matter. I guess we don't know yet how much the games matter. But That was huge. I think there's a question about we're still working under the presumption that Trevor Rogers is going to pitch
tonight.
Why wouldn't they have announced the starter if it wasn't Trevor Rogers? Is sort of the way that a lot of us are feeling. Like, if they knew it wasn't going to be Trevor Rogers, wouldn't they just go ahead and announce the starting pitcher is? Now, I guess part of the problem is there's no that you can't go to Kyle Bradish because that would be 4 days rest. You don't really want to be going to Kyle Bradish on 5 at the moment, but you don't have a whole lot of other options, so you're probably going to have to start Kyle Bradish on 5 days rest. So the only other option is essentially a bullpen game. We talked about it yesterday. Trey Gibson pitched 2 innings on Friday night. He could be your bulk guy.
They sent him back down yesterday.
Oh, that's right. They
Yeah.
did.
For Josh Walker, right? That was who they
I totally
I
forgot
know.
about that.
I was confused by that one because they did it like right before first pitch. It was
Which makes you think that they have to know that Trevor Rogers is pitching
Right.
tonight. They have to. And it's just one of those, they can't announce it until he's officially back on the roster. And that yesterday was just the move they made to have a relief arm available should they need. If that game turns into a blowout, then they can just throw. What was his name again?
What?
Josh Walker? Is
Yeah,
that what
Josh
it
Walker.
was? Josh Walker. They can just throw him
who's
out
definitely
there.
a real guy, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's why he was here. It's got to be. It's got to be that he was here.
In case this game,
game-
last night turned into a 10-0.
Yes, if this is a 10-0 game, you let him pitch 5 innings until his arm falls off, and then you send him back down because Trevor Rogers is taking a spot on Tuesday. I presume. There's no other option. So Trevor Rogers comes back, right? And like that, it's got to be tonight. It just has to be. I can't even think of who are the other starters at Norfolk. Like who's even in the rotation?
You put me on the spot like this.
I don't even know
hold on.
who's still even in the organization at this point. Is part of the difficulty
Who's
that
the
we're dealing
hitters.
with.
I mean, yeah, like Weston, right? I get but he's not a. Suarez is down there still, but like these are moves that they would have to declare an injury,
Yeah.
right? Like in order to get these guys up. So
Well,
Nestor
Suarez,
Herman,
no, because they gave Suarez his outright release, right?
Okay, so they're
and
allowed
then-
to recall him
yeah.
whenever they want.
That's sort of the
'Cause
reason
he
why
just
you.
keeps accepting.
The reason why you
yeah.
do that is he keeps accepting assignments. And it kind of resets the clock, right? You're not optioning him.
Appreciate him.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the way that it works. So
Trace Bright's down there, Levi Wells, Nestor Herman, but like
Okay,
those guys aren't
yeah.
ready. Like
I mean,
that's-
right. If for some reason Trevor Rogers can't go, again, if he can't go, what is going on? Like, what is happening if Trevor Rogers can't go? But I guess that's the answer is that Suarez would, and I also don't know when
ship him
Suarez.
up here, yeah.
If we find out that Suarez pitched on Sunday, then he's clearly not the answer. Jesus. But if you want to have a conversation about, hey, is Brandon Young earning a prolonged look? Now, we've had this conversation about other guys, right? Cade Povich made one start, and we were like, oh, my God. We got to see more of this guy. And then we saw more of that guy. And then 1 inning into Brandon Young's last start before last night, we were ready to fire him into the sun. And then the last 10.1 innings have been pretty good. So has Brandon Young earned a prolonged look? I mean, you got to think about the timing on when these guys are going to be back. If Rogers is back, then you've got 5 guys. I could go for a burger. If you get Rogers back tonight, then when does Kramer come back? Because if Kramer's back, and he'll need rehab.
Yeah,
He'll need a
'cause
rehab.
He'll be at least a month, right? Yeah.
So it would earn Brandon Young the opportunity to make a couple more starts and try to solidify a rotation spot and prove that he belongs here. I guess that's really the way of discussing it. He's ahead of Trey Gibson on the list and has now delivered back-to-back good starts. And I guess 3 good starts on the season, right? So you're starting to see a little bit of a track record, and, last night was against the Yankees, so that's probably a bit more valuable. I'm not trying to overstate this or suggest that we have proof that Brandon Young is a major league starter, but I think in just what do we extrapolate from that? I think we can extrapolate that maybe it's one more piece of evidence that perhaps Brandon Young could be helpful. That's all I can give it. I can't declare more than that, but maybe he could be helpful. And so we'll take that. The lineup you still don't feel great about against lefties. Let's not pretend. I mean, the Orioles were getting no hit into the 6th inning. Was it the sixth? It was the 6th.
It's almost like it's a scheduled. Yeah, it's like a scheduled tweet.
I mean, it's just what it is. As I said last night, the worst team in baseball is the Orioles against lefties, but the best team in baseball is the Orioles when they're about to be no hit. And so it's a strange dichotomy.
They wait until the 7th inning and then they
don't know how to reconcile
they
all
sit
of that.
forward. They sit up.
Well, and Coby Mayo hit the home run off a lefty for what it's worth too. So
it's not a start. It's against starting lefties. It's against starting left-handed pitchers.
That's
Once
correct.
they bring in a left-handed reliever, it's
I don't think the numbers
like,
are dramatically better against left-handed relievers. I don't think you suddenly look at it and you're like, wow, they're really good. Our buddy Matt.
Oh yeah, Albert Suarez last pitch Friday, by the way, 4 innings in Norfolk.
So he could give you
2,
maybe.
I know, yeah. It's like,
maybe.
well, and that's the other thing because Rico and Nunez both just pitched the last 2 days. Ends is your long man-ish, and he threw 20 pitches yesterday. So
I mean, Keegan Aiken only threw an inning on Sunday, and it certainly can be. He could give you multiple.
Yeah, you'd have Kittredge available, and Aiken, Cano, Wolfram, but your A guys are.
I mean,
not going to be available tonight.
You either need Trevor Rogers, or you just need to sort of say, "Hey, we're going to try on Wednesday."
Against a left-hander like Max.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
So it's the only ready they'll face.
It's got to be Trevor Rogers. It has to be. Our buddy Matt Torper, maybe Mayo could thrive for a while as a platoon pinch hit bat against lefties. His career splits against left-handed pitchers are decent. Might be a way to build his confidence. Also, I'm willing to give O'Neill a bit more time since he's had scattered at-bats and injuries. But if he's still struggling after another 50 to 100 at-bats, then you might want to consider a cut. He's supposed to hit lefties well. And if he can get that going, he could still help the team. Yeah, we had a couple people that...
He did walk last night.
There is that. Had a couple people that reached out yesterday for what it's worth and said, boy, you guys are ready to send Coby Mayo down. Like, first of all, I don't even know that I guess I might.
I am, but also I also recognize there's literally no one else.
Like, if you're listening, then you know. Like, I think that ultimately Zach Moore did say, yeah, I think that's what you got to do. And maybe I agreed in the end that, like, yeah, it's probably just time. But if you've listened to anything we've said, every time we have one of these conversations, my answer is sort of, you can, but for what?
They'd be calling up, I mean, I guess Christian Encarnacion Strand would be
the answer would be, I think what I came around to yesterday was, if you want to do that when Jackson Holliday's ready, then sure. Sure. Go right ahead and do that when Jackson Holliday's ready. But that's the furthest that I can go. The furthest I can go is give Mayo until Holliday returns, and, if it's still a mess, then go ahead. 1 home run doesn't reset that.
It's against the Yankees.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But if that, we hope the 2 home runs 2 weeks ago were what was going to turn things around for Coby Mayo. Spoiler alert, it didn't. So I'm not going to suddenly say that 1 home run last night against the Yankees, and I get it. Maybe he was just really inspired by getting cleated at second base, and he got pissed off, and he said, all right.
Got to cleat him every game.
By all means. Well, let's think about that. Who was the football player that had to get, like, punched in the face before games, and he'd be like, hit me harder. Hit me harder.
I don't know. Is that something that feels like something Jim Harbaugh wanted to done to him? Right?
Football player.
Brian Cushing
wanted to be hit before games. There's a classic video. Hit me harder. John Henderson. John Henderson. His pregame ritual was legendary for its extreme intensity. Before taking the field, Henderson would ask the Jaguars trainer Joe Sheehan to slap him across the face as hard as possible. If the slap wasn't hard enough to draw blood, Henderson would yell at the trainer to hit him harder, famously telling him, "You gotta make blood come out of the mouth." There's video of this. It's famous. It's gone.
I'll try to find it.
Every time like one of these accounts that just shares random shares it again, it goes viral all over again, even though it's related to nothing. It's just one of those pieces. I don't know if we have a phrase for that type of internet.
It's like engagement farming. Like that's the.
That's the broader concept. But I think looking for something specific that has no relation to anything, but we just share it out, and every time we share it out,
it gets picked up.
It gets a ton of attention, and I just don't know what that is. And also, when do we start doing that?
Us?
Yeah, when do we start that? I mean, we could use just about anything, really, when you think about it. We could use. Yes, this is the Big John Henderson, 100%. And sure, of course,
Kalshi
of course, Kalshi. Of course, Kalshi is the one that shared it out for no reason whatsoever. You know what? I hate saying it. We got to look into this. We got to come up with a term. And then we create an account that's just us sharing out.
Glenn Clark, I guess we probably wouldn't want to.
No, I don't think it has to have our name on it. I mean, it could. It could be GCR or just GCR.
We could just be really straightforward about it.
Engagement farming, right? Something like that.
Engagement bait, and just that's
you know what? And maybe we make it like an engagement bait of the day, something like that. Maybe we do it on the main account. But we call it our engagement bait of the day.
Right. Okay.
I actually think we're on to something.
What do
you
want to steal this today?
We can make this today.
Just steal this one today?
Yeah, steal it right from Kalshi,
Say
too.
John Henderson was different.
Yeah, right.
With the 2 emojis that they used.
But I think we have to call out what it is. We have to say it's our engagement bait of the day.
New segment on...
Yeah, right? This was... this.
Oh, Joe, that ain't even good enough. Come on, Joe. Thank you, baby. Thank you. You making blood come from my damn mouth. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You got to make blood come to the mouth. You can't just smack me and don't hit me hard.
Jaguars getting ready for a game. Maybe that's what Coby Mayo needs. Maybe.
It was originally from Down and Distance, apparently. At Down and Distance.
I don't think that's where it was originally from Griffin.
Oh, you think it was from the Jags?
I think. Or it looked like an NFL Films.
Yeah.
You keep saying that's originally from. You are great at doing the originally from. That's an engagement farming account.
Should we just use one of these?
Yeah, right? We should. That's not a bad idea. Find an engagement farming account.
Bookmark this thread.
Yeah, right? And then just retweet something they do. But we need to tie it into the show somehow.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. Well, just add a segment. And
I'm not opposed to us sharing that clip and saying maybe this is Coby Mayo. What Coby Mayo needs to do to get ready for every game or something like that. I think we should. I'm not kidding when I say I think we should consider this because we bring up these random something that we randomly come to during the course of the show. It's not a bad idea to then also share it on social media.
All right.
Like this is maybe what Coby Mayo needs to do before every game in order to get ready. The moral of the story.
I feel like we should add even less context.
No, I can't. I can't do it. I can't.
Just literally no announcement. Hey, this is the Glenn Clark engagement bait of the day, and it's just this video.
I do kind of like that too. One or the other. Either not John. I don't like John Henderson was different. I don't like that.
Well, I'm saying maybe we don't even don't even say who he is.
I'm okay with engagement bait of the day. Like that I'm okay with, and I'm okay with giving the context. I'm not okay with John Henderson is different.
See what the context that we were talking about Coby Mayo.
Yeah, right.
John Henderson.
Or the other thing. Or we just say this is our engagement bait of the day.
Yeah.
One or the other.
I think I lean towards that.
I'm okay with either one. I tell you what, much like we've been doing with TikTok, you figure out what works.
Okay.
All right. And when I find out 3 days later that you've just been saying John Henderson was different, and you've reposted the same video every day with a different. You know what, man? If it works, I don't give a rat's ass. And then if we're getting it, at some point, are we gonna have to pay for a?
There's another account called Nosebleed Gridiron that also shared it.
That's at some point, are we gonna have to pay for an effing check?
For what?
On Twitter.
I think so. Yeah.
I hate that. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to.
It may help. I don't know. I mean, well, if we go live on Twitter, I think that would be the main beneficiary of it.
Talk to him.
John.
Talk to him. I'm not paying for it. He wants to pay for it. And then we have to apologize that we're paying. Like we have to say, look, we're deeply embarrassed by this. It was a company decision. We have to make it seem like
John Colson made us.
We had nothing to do with it. You need to talk to him. You need to figure out that's the way it's going to work. How do we get? Oh, Coby Mayo, right? Yeah, I'm not convinced that one Coby Mayo home run.
First 2 months half off.
I'm not approving it. I don't want to have anything to do
And we
with
get
it.
Super Grok.
What is that?
I don't.
I feel like that's the worst part about it. I'm really terrified that when we find out, hey, what ruins society? The answer is going to be Super Grok.
Get this. You don't even get fully no ads. You get there's a less
Shut
ad,
up.
there's a less ads version, and then you get the fully fully no ad
I
version.
just hate it here. I hate it here so much. So I'm still going to have to get
Sorry.
every
Oh my God. Never mind. There's 3 levels. So there's one where you still get the normal amount of ads in your
for
feed.
Christ's sakes.
That's basic. That's Twitter basic.
But do we get the engagement farming?
Hopefully, yeah.
What do
I
we
think
what
so.
do we
Well, I think we
get?
got to say praise Elon and
That's-
and then he'll just retweet
Here,
everything.
You can do that. I'm gonna choose not.
I don't really want to do that either.
I'm gonna pass. Well, you just said it. That came out of your mouth.
You get basic, premium, then there's premium plus, where you finally get Super Grok and no ads.
Super Grok is such a terrifying. Daddy, why do we not have a home anymore? Well, kids, it started with Super Grok. Come on, man. That sounds awful. Oh, by the speaking of awful, I
So
watched.
basic, you don't even get a check mark with basic.
Oh,
So
what the hell?
is
What's the hell's the point of it? What do you get?
You can edit posts,
Oh, for F's sake. No.
and you can edit posts and do longer posts. That's the only difference for basic.
What was that? Oh, I watched the Kevin Hart roast.
I saw clips.
Kind of sucked. Like, what was that?
Why
There
did
were
it suck?
very
It was-
few highlights.
I was for whatever
was a-
reason. Elon was forcing.
We
them
don't
want to
have this conversation because, like, the people that like Shane Gillis like him for very specific reasons, and you can't have a they like him because of certain things. It's less about his comedy and more about like what they think he represents to bringing comedy back.
Legalize it. Yeah.
And so what you miss is that like he's not good at this. He's very awkward as when he's not in his element.
When he's not like sitting and doing his podcast.
When he's not
with his buddies.
Like, which doesn't mean he's not funny. It's that like if something he doesn't sell anything. He just immediately is like, oh, you didn't think that was funny? I don't know. I thought that was fun. Like, he's not good as an MC. He's not good as a host in outside circumstances. When, like, he hosts SNL, the monologues are, they're okay. Like, the sketches, that Jamaican sketch was gold, right? Like, anybody could have done it. It didn't require him. He's funny, but he's not this. He's not charismatic. He's not. His humor is how awkward he is.
You didn't watch Tires. Did you watch Tires?
I watched Tires.
You did, yeah.
It's funny. But it's mildly funny. It's not
I think it's funny.
like it's more funny in concept than it is in practicality, right? Like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is the jokes are so effing funny that you're still laughing at the last one when the next one hits. Tires, it's the concept is so funny that it makes up for the fact that there aren't really jokes. It's more like, oh, how absurd is this character in general?
I guess, yeah.
I think it started like that set the tone, and then the number of people that were like openly talking, oh, I didn't write this. Like, you're not that's not the point of a roast is like you're supposed to be the one telling the jokes, not openly saying I had nothing to do with this. Like, it was a weird vibe, man. Like, weird, and it was a very kind of unimpressive guest list.
Draymond was there, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Pete Davidson there?
Pete Davidson was there, but Pete Davidson only did like 3 minutes. Like,
Who else was
like
there?
all of a sudden he was just done. It was rough, man. Like, it was a rough. Like, that's not to say there weren't some moments. Like, it obviously had some moments, but to watch the whole thing, like the Tom Brady thing was, I can't lie, it had some down moments, but on the whole,
The Brady roast.
yeah, it was outstanding.
Tony Hinchcliffe was there. Your guy.
Yeah, my guy. You know me. And by the way, was definitely on the higher end of.
Oh, Lizzo was there.
And like in a smaller dose, probably really would have worked. I think they gave
everyone
her.
kept running at.
But again, it was part of the. Lizzo was as guilty as anyone else of, like, reading something off the prompter and then like laughing and not delivering it well.
You mean she's not a comedian?
Yeah. But even some of the comedians were doing that. Like Shane Gillis was doing that because again, he's very awkward. He's not an MC. He's a podcaster, is what he is. He's a guy who thrives in his environment. He's not a charismatic stand up and be comfortable and improv and work with what somebody's giving you type. I don't know how we got here. How did I go from Coby Mayo to breaking down the roast? I have no idea what just happened there.
I don't
We
know
were
why.
engagement farming.
You were mad about Gillis.
I don't know what. Yeah, but we had to get there somehow.
Oh, Gabriel Iglesias was there.
Was he?
Apparently,
I
they
apparently
just
haven't
cut
gotten
one of the clips that they just cut.
I haven't gotten to that part.
Cat
yet,
Williams.
I did. Cat Williams is what I've gotten to. That's what I've gotten to. All right. Well, the Orioles won. Is the point of all of this, and we're gonna go into engagement farming. That's what we've got for it.
Thanks, Coby Mayo.
Those are the two big takeaways from today's show. Today's show is brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which is normally on Mondays, but this week is on Tuesday. So join Stan the Fan, as well as Ross Grimsley and Luke Jackson. They will be getting together today at about 4:15, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it live, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. It's all brought to you by the Costas Inn with two great locations in Dundalk and Timonium. I see what they're doing out at Timonium. They're like the ground level. That's going to be an event space, which will be really cool too. And then also brought to you by Warnken Law. When we come back in, Britt Ghiroli from The Athletic. She wrote a really nice column about trying to take a big picture look at where the Orioles are. We'll talk to her about that next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Well, spring and summer have sprung up in Baltimore. That means more than ever it's time to visit one of the two great locations in Baltimore for the Costas Inn. The new location at Timonium Fairgrounds next to the OTB has the same great food, ambiance, and hospitality as the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard in the heart of Dundalk and Sparrows Point. Both are open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, but remember, it's only the original location for steamed crabs. Take this number down, 410-477-1975 to reserve your slice of Maryland heaven. Make sure you check availability, size, and price point for your next feast. The Costas Inn, always the right choice for dining.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in a car or truck crash, you probably know this is stressful. Medical bills, the insurance company giving you the runaround, you got to get your car fixed. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnken LLC, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car or truck crash case, medical malpractice, or any other serious personal injury, we fight for maximum compensation for you and maximum ease for you. You don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Warnken LLC has been voted best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate that you need. Call us today, 443 Results, or visit us online, warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
That's a fair point. Ed says, you say you don't know yet if Craig Albernaz is a manager. I understand what you're saying. I do think it's worth pointing out that you talked about the possibility of him being an Adley Rutschman whisperer before the season, and look at where we are. Not only is Adley getting the job done at the dish, but he ended the game throwing out a runner last night. He's now 7 for 19. Is that right? 7 for 19 throwing out runners? And is that good? Is that, are we... That doesn't...
Yeah, I mean, what did they say? Like, Caballero steals 80% of bases, and so Adley's throwing out, 40% of runners?
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. All right. I mean...
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to measure Craig Albernaz by, is he getting the best version of Adley Rutschman? And I did, you're right. Like, it did seem, and I brought that up when I chatted with Mike Elias about it, and Mike Elias kind of downplayed it, of course. But if you want to point out that, like, the best department on this team is the catchers, and that's Craig Albernaz's specialty. We just chatted about that with Ethan Anderson recently. Like, sure, that's a very good thing. Now, again, you're the manager. You don't just get to say, "Hey, well, the catchers are good." It doesn't work that way.
Important position, though.
I'm not saying it isn't, but that it's not a singular measurement. But sure, I got no problem pointing out. Like, if that was part of what the Orioles' thought process was in hiring Craig Albernaz, then the early returns would suggest that he's making a difference specifically with the catchers. What that means moving forward for the team remains to be determined. We're going to do this a little bit earlier on because of her schedule, but an opportunity to catch up with Britt Ghiroli from The Athletic right here on GCR. Let's talk a little bit more about the Orioles, and I think our next guest did a really good job of trying to dive into, like, what is the appropriate way to talk about what's going on with the Orioles, and maybe she saw the script as they've won their last couple of games after what had looked like a really bleak stretch of baseball. She, of course, is a national baseball writer for The Athletic. She's Britt Ghiroli, and she's back with us now here on GCR. Britt, it's difficult because, like, you can't hide from how bad it is or pretend like it hasn't been dramatically worse than maybe expected, but at the same time, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played, and it does seem like the Orioles kind of have to be better than what we've seen to this point.
Yes, and that's the challenge. And, when I write a column like that, I don't take it lightly. I probably talked to 10 people or so that are either in the organization or have been in the organization recently, because I think it's so easy to get up here and just complain and say, fire everyone. And you have to kind of take a look at the bigger picture. And I tried to do that with, the American League is bad. Like, they are in basically the same boat as the Toronto Blue Jays, and I don't see anyone being like, hey, the Toronto Blue Jays season's over, right? Like, so there are some things that make you feel optimistic. The reason I think people feel so negatively, and this is very justifiable, is the fact that this team has been a disappointment for almost 2 years, right? The fact that they won 101 games in 23 and 91 and 24, and they did not do enough, and I think the front office regrets that, and I think when you look at this team, the window was supposed to be now. Fans expected dominance and a dynasty. And so I think to some extent, the Orioles being where they are now, even though they're in the mix for a third wild card, even if they make the playoffs, it's not enough to just get in anymore, right? Fans have been waiting for this team to be good and to win a playoff game again. So I think it's just a very nuanced, layered thing what is going on right now.
What to you, Britt, what are the biggest reasons why you think there should be more optimism that this isn't the full story of what this Orioles team will be?
So I think the talent level is sky high. And, every opponent that's come in, I'm always on the visiting side because I cover, baseball nationally now. So I'm always on both sides. And people just can't get over how talented they are, how they haven't played to that level yet. And so I think, the fact that Adley is going well, you have to imagine that at some point in time, him and Gunnar are going to hit at the same time. And that changes the complexion of the lineup, So I think you can feel optimistic about that. I have a harder time feeling optimistic about the pitching because of the injuries and the lack of depth. I do think that this front office has shown that they can get a little uncomfortable, and they certainly got a little comfortable this offseason in spending money, right? So will they get, if they're close and kind of in it in July, will we see them be a little more aggressive because they know that they can't keep making these like nibble around the margin moves. So I think you could feel a little more optimistic about that. But, you know, on the flip side, there are real problems. There are real concerns about the pitching. There are real concerns about defensively, how they play fundamentally. And I think the comment I got the most from that column in The Athletic is the executive who says they play like a showcase team. And for those who aren't familiar, that's basically just a bunch of really talented guys playing in like, you know, a perfect game trying to get drafted, right? Trying to hit home runs and not worried about going first to third or doing the little things right. You know, they're trying to get noticed by scouts. And so I thought that was a really good analogy for how they're playing. And I think that style of play certainly drives Andrew Craig Alvarez nuts. I think that they are trying very hard. You see guys out there every day to correct that defensively. But you cannot be a good team if you're giving up an unearned run a game, and they were on that pace up until a couple days ago. Yesterday was a refreshing style of play. I think if they can get 4 games like that, they're going to be okay. The question is, you know, can they do that? Can they replicate that?
Britt Ghiroli from The Athletic with us here on GCR. We've linked up this column that she wrote on our Twitter account, @GlennClarkRadio, for you to go check it out. Britt, with a couple of those things that you referenced obviously stand out significantly, and I think the question that maybe some Orioles fans have is where does the accountability come from? And I think there was this like hope that maybe Pete Alonso would bring that with him, and we've certainly seen in moments like on Friday night, right, where Gunnar Henderson bobbles a ball and he says, all right, let's all meet at the pitcher's mound because we need to talk about this. This isn't good enough. But like, does it make sense why there isn't more accountability for some of these small things, and is it fair to I don't know, is Craig Alvarez in his first year as a manager, is he capable of demanding that type of accountability?
I think he is. I do think Pete Alonso adds a lot of veteran leadership. I think the issue is these guys in 23 needed that. They needed that in 24. They definitely needed it in 25. And so I think to some extent, can't just sign Pete Alonso and expect the whole culture to be fixed, right? It's going to take time, 1. And 2, I think the revolving door of coaches hurt some of these young hitters. They've had a lot of different hitting coaches over the years, and you know, part of that was, as I referenced in the article, they didn't always treat their coaches very well. You know, they were on like 1-year deals a lot of times, or they weren't paid a whole lot, and so it made it easy for those coaches, once the Orioles got good, to seek better opportunities. And that is something that the front office did take accountability for, and they did sign all of Alvarez's coaches to multi-year deals this year. So I think when you're calling up these young guys, as this game now calls up these young guys, and if you're a front office that doesn't believe in veterans, and this front office I think had to learn the hard way about the importance of veterans, you're not teaching these guys how to be big leaguers. You don't have that presence, and I've seen this on countless teams. You know, in 2008, my first year with the Rays, like Cliff Floyd and Eric Kinsky set the tone. But there was a losing streak. They were the guys out there saying, don't panic, we're going to be fine. I've been on teams that have lost before, and it's still been good. You know, you saw that with the 2010 team, you know, Adam Jones and Nick Markakis, and like they had leaders in there, and Nelson Cruz was terrific for them in 14. And so I think part of the problem now is they didn't have that for a long time, so it's not going to change overnight. I do think Craig Alvarez has the authority and the accountability factor to make that better. I do think Pete Alonso is going to make that better. I just don't think you can expect culture and expect how this team has operated to change overnight. I think you're starting to see that. And look, maybe it's just we'll look back on these first 6 weeks and say, like, that's what they needed to get the ball rolling in the other direction. That's certainly possible. I do think that some of these things have been corrected. You just wish, hey, what would it have looked like in 23 or 24 had they done this, had they gone all in? But, you know, nobody is ever going to be able to tell you for sure if that would have worked or not. You know, I don't think, talking about this the other day, and they added the Rangers had Jordan Montgomery that year, if you remember. I don't think anybody thought that meant they were going to the World Series, right? Like, it is such a fluky game. But I do certainly think if you look at that 24 series against the Royals, certainly the whole second half of 24, you know, Brandon Hyde was begging for veterans. You know, coaches in there were begging for veterans. Like, when you have a young team struggle for such a prolonged amount of time, having nobody in there who's been there, having nobody in there who's a veteran hurts. It hurts development, it hurts mentally, and it's such a mental game. And I think you saw that in 2012.
Oh, I think people don't realize the significance of just a Robinson Chirinos type, right? Like, that goes so far for, sort of handling the culture of a baseball team. Britt, you bring up, obviously, like, those that want to fire someone, and I would argue that it was absurd to fire Brandon Hyde when they did a year ago, just because nothing gets better under an interim manager. With no disrespect for Tony Mansolino, it doesn't help. It's just another lame duck. To your point about the coaches, it doesn't help anything. So it's absurd to me to have a conversation about firing, and I know that Mike Elias is the guy that's in fans' crosshairs at this point. But what is fair as far as talking about, like, how the team has gotten here? And is there a conversation at all to be had about, hey, maybe at the end of the year, if it doesn't improve, there does need to be. Like, how do we discuss that fairly, knowing it's not, hey, they should fire Mike Elias on May 12th, which is patently absurd?
Right, they're not going to do that. There's like 100 reasons why they're not going to do that. But, yeah, I think what's fair is you could blame Elias for this roster and this front office for the roster because they're the ones who constructed it. You can blame them for being an underwhelming, frustrating team again. You could certainly say the last 22 or so months have been disappointing. I think all of those are fair criticisms. I think, Mike Elias and the rest of the front office would nod their heads and say, yes, these are fair criticisms. Like, these guys, a lot of these guys have not taken the step forward and really finished themselves off as, high-level prospects in the big leagues. I think that's all fair criticism. I also think if you look at this team, and as I first reported last year, they promoted Mike Elias last year to president. So with that promotion, I'm sure came a new contract. And, people aren't becoming president for a year or 2 years. So they committed to him for the long haul. And I think when you look at this year, if they don't make the playoffs, certainly there'll be a lot more pressure on him. But I don't even know if that would be enough to say, okay, let's eat 3 or 4 years or whatever else he has remaining on his contract and start over in the wake of so much uncertainty with the lockout and, the CBA. I just don't know if that's the answer either. They're in a really precarious place if they don't turn it around. I don't know if anybody has the answers. Like, how angry is ownership? How involved is ownership? I don't think they are an ownership group that is, emailing and constantly, on Mike Elias every time they lose. I think they're a little bit more of a hands-off approach, but we saw with Brandon Hyde that they will eat money. They're paying Brandon Hyde this year, right? They fired him in May and paid him for the whole rest of the year. So I think they are, when they make a decision, they will be decisive about it. They will be swift about it like they were with Hyde. I just don't think there's nothing to suggest they've reached that point with Elias now, and I don't know. Certainly firing him in season does nothing. I think they're going to have to ride this out and see how the season goes and see if they can turn this around.
Britt, you referenced, maybe the aggressiveness perhaps at the deadline. Obviously, I think, I agree with your sentiment. I think the offense, there's every reason to think that it's going to be better, and, the track record of Gunnar Henderson is too good for me to think that this is his story, so I agree. And I also agree that I don't know that I agree when it comes to the pitching, or I don't know that there is that next level to the pitching. They don't need a back-end rotation piece. They need a front-end guy. To be fair, that's what they said they needed last offseason. Mike Elias said that, and then they didn't go get that guy and tried to argue that Shane Baz could be that guy. I don't even know if they have enough to go make that type of move, and I still don't know yet who would even be available, if an Alcantara even fits the bill at this point for that type of guy. But, like, do you feel like that they recognize, hey, we've missed here and we have no choice now but to be aggressive? Like, do you get the sense that they're going to have to take a swing at an actual top-of-the-rotation type of pitcher, which they haven't been able to land other than the 1 year of Corbin Burns?
So I agree with you in that I don't think the pitching is quite as easy to look at and say, well, it'll get better, not without significant personnel changes. I don't know. If you look historically in July, those guys are not available.
Right.
These top-of-the-rotation guys. Like, I was talking to another manager recently, and we were talking about the fact that, it used to be kind of draft bats and you can get pitching, and, that was the way it worked. But now in the game nowadays, in the modern game, people do not trade pitching, even if they have 10 pitchers, right? Because it's just never enough pitching in the age of guys being hurt all the time and in pitch counts and in the fragility of arms. we just don't see teams dealing pitching. Like, do we see teams dealing starters who haven't been good? Sure. I mean, that's how they got Trevor Rogers, right? But in terms of, like, getting a Corbin Burns type of guy, you're not getting that guy. You look at all the teams that are bad right now. It's not like any of them have this ace. I don't know who you're going to get that's going to make a significant impact. And, you know, you're maybe going to get some bullpen guys and you're going to get some back-end rotation. That's what July is, right? So not getting that front-end guy this offseason really does hurt them. You're going to have to pull like rabbits out of a hat, honestly, if you're going to be able to compete, or you're going to have to maybe supercharge your bullpen and say, hey, let's just get 4 or 5 innings from our starters and go out and add like 4 arms and just become like the 2014 Royals, right? Like, just like you're just going to have to be innovative, because otherwise I don't know how you win, because you are not a team built on run prevention. Pitching and defense was not the core tenet when putting together this Orioles roster. You can't convince me that it was.
No, I agree with that. I still don't know that you have a Yordano Ventura in that group to be the 2014 Royals. Maybe Kyle Bradish could turn into that guy as the year goes on, but I get it. Those guys just might not be available. Britt, I know you tweeted about it yesterday. I think the average person probably doesn't understand the significance. Can you explain, as someone who covered this team for a long time, what Nicole Sherry has meant to this organization and the job that she's done, and her significance also just as a female in a prominent role in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, to spend 20 years in one major league organization, I don't care what your role is pretty remarkable. And she's been in baseball for even longer than that, since 2001. She was saying to me yesterday, and for her to be the second woman, I think what she has done is she has kind of shown people that this is possible. This is a male-dominated profession. This is a male-dominated role specifically. And I don't think people realize that she is there every game. She is there hours before the game starts, getting the field ready. She's there for hours afterwards, making sure that everything is good for the next day. Rain delays, they're monitoring weather. Like, there's so much that goes into her job. And I think that she's going to be missed. She's one of those people who are around the team appreciate. She's kind of somebody that I thought would never leave. But, the time comes for everyone. She's got a son in 8th grade she wants to spend more time with. And this job with the State Department was another thing that she kind of had it on her bucket list as something she wanted to do. So, I think the narrative that, like, she wants out or that this is a sinking ship is incorrect. Nicole has seen some bad baseball in 20 years, right? Like, if she was going to get out because the team was bad, like, she would have done it a long time ago. But I just think that the impact she's had, and players love her. I remember when, J.J. Hardy and Manny Machado were here, and they wanted the infield a certain way. And she kind of, it's kind of, you hear about home field advantage all the time, and having a good groundskeeper is key in that, in keeping, the grass a certain way and having the infield play a certain way. So her impact is going to be missed by people that are around the team every day. Certainly I'm going to miss seeing her as well. So it's bittersweet. It's nice that she's moving on to a really cool role, and a role that she's long wanted to do. But, it is unfortunate. The only other female head groundskeeper in baseball is over in Detroit. So, maybe she's inspired another generation. Maybe we'll see it again. But it is really a lot of hours and virtually a thankless job, right, guys? Like, you never are like, oh, great job by the grounds crew. We never say that.
The only time you ever bring up the grounds crew, unfortunately, is when there's something goes wrong with the tarp, right? Like, and then you make fun of the grounds crew.
Exactly. Yeah. You never say like, oh, great job, like putting the tarp on before it rains. Right. You never say that. So, and honestly, Buck Showalter is so detail oriented, and I remember how much he used to rave about the job Nicole did, and it is hard to pass the Buck test, and she always did flying colors. Like, she was someone that Buck really respected, and I think that really says everything, because Buck is very into turf management, field management, and again, is somebody that does not tolerate details being overlooked. So that, to me, always spoke volumes.
A man who legitimately needed to know exactly how long the benches were before he would take a job in Arizona, and wanted the input. That's the type of detail that Buck Showalter demands. Britt _Ghiroli is how you follow her on Twitter. And is it just Britt Ghiroli on Instagram as well?
Yes.
Excellent. Give her a follow there. Britt, always appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time for us. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, very fair stuff from Britt Ghiroli. Let's talk a little bit more about. I don't know. I don't think we need to hear it again. I liked it, but I don't think we need to do it twice. Very fair stuff. Imagine if we had tried to pretend that was live. That would have been a really awkward moment. Very fair. Also, yes, if you missed it, Nicole Sherry, Orioles heads groundkeeper, announced, or it was reported yesterday that she is stepping away after 20 years at Camden Yards, and a heck of a run, and someone who has been very respected within the organization. So we wish nothing but the best to Nicole Sherry. We come back in. We're going to talk some Preakness. There's only 3 horses, which, to be fair, is more than we thought they were going to be, because at about this time last week, we thought the number was going to be 0. But only 3 horses that ran in the Kentucky Derby will be running in the Preakness. One of them gained a lot of popularity. That horse is named Ocelli. Finished 3rd in the Derby, but if you looked at the connections, you would have thought that Ocelli won, because Ocelli was a 70-1 underdog who is still hasn't even broken his maiden, has still not won a race, but Ocelli's going to run in the Preakness. And we're going to talk to his trainer next, Whit Beckman, here on Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Well, spring and summer have sprung up in Baltimore. That means more than ever it's time to visit one of the 2 great locations in Baltimore for the Costas Inn. The new location at Timonian Fairgrounds next to the OTB has the same great food, ambiance, and hospitality as the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard in the heart of Dundalk and Sparrows Point. Both are open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, but remember, it's only the original location for steamed crabs. Take this number down, 410-477-1975 to reserve your slice of Maryland heaven. Make sure you check availability, size, and price point for your next feast. The Costas Inn, always the right choice for dining.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. Don't forget, countysports.zone is the best place to find everything you could possibly need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. Scores, schedules, rankings, polls, A-Conference semifinals tonight, this afternoon and tonight in Annapolis. at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. So if you are not aware of who's playing and who's going for the championship in the toughest high school lacrosse conference in the country, then you can find it out by going to countysports.zone. Again, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Continue along here on a Tuesday edition of GCR. Of course, the Preakness is coming up this Saturday, this year at Laurel Park, before returning to Baltimore. Joining us now here on GCR, someone whose horse caught the attention of the world despite not even winning the Kentucky Derby. From 70-1 odds and not even being in the field to being right there at the end and a third-place finish, Ocelli, one of 3 Derby horses, running it back in the Preakness. Joining us now, he is the trainer for Ocelli. He's Whit Beckman, and he is with us on GCR. Whit, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Whit, can you kind of explain, what is this horse? How has this happened? How is a horse that's never won been able to perform the way that he performed in the Kentucky Derby, going up against the best horses in the world?
I mean, he's always been an extraordinary talent. Horses, they kind of take time. Not all of them come out, extremely precocious and forward, early on and kind of catch the attention, say, through preps and whatnot. With me and kind of our program set up towards development. And, with this horse, we saw a lot of potential, a lot of brilliance in the morning. Which gave us the confidence to kind of keep trying in the spots, which presumably from the outside looked a little over his head, but he was never backing up in these races. We were always trying to figure some things out about him, but he was always kind of taking, steps forward. And I think with that, obviously we were lucky to draw into the Derby. Just getting caught on the wire at Aqueduct didn't guarantee the spot, but it was, just the faith we had in him. We knew that if we were to get him to that starting gate with that distance, he was going to show what we'd always seen. I mean, he loves Churchill, always trained very well there. Like I said, it was just everything clicking at the right time. And I'm glad he got to do that in front of 150,000 people on track and, the world on the TV.
Speaking of the 150,000 people at the track, some of those people got an awful lot of attention. For folks that haven't seen it, we're showing it on the screen right now. Can you explain to us who all we're seeing in this video up on the rail, losing their minds? And
I assume what video you're showing.
Yeah.
I didn't go out I stayed in the paddock just because of that exactly. It was very crowded on the, rail and the apron. So I stayed in the paddock. I wasn't witness to the extreme exuberation and celebratory, feel that was going on there. So yeah, that's the ownership group, just all the people that we've been, kind of on this journey with, real good people. They had confidence in me the whole way, putting him in these spots. But funny, right after the race, I'm in the paddock watching, and I knew he got beat on the wire, but I'm looking, I'm pretty sure they're showing the wrong group celebrating here, because that was our box, not the Golden Tempo box. A lot of red hats in there.
But that said, it felt like part of that celebration, yes, was the fact that you almost won, but really just the amazing nature of finishing in third from where you guys were, and with 7-1 odds. I get it. I'm sure as a competitor, you're like, yeah, I want to win. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But how significant was it just to have that type of run with a horse that once upon a time, cost $12,000?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't celebrating quite so much in the paddock. I was more just like the reality of it hit me. But, with this horse, exactly, it's a $12,000 horse. Bodycon, he ran in the Aiken Trials, which is a, big circuit down in South Carolina through the winter for a lot of 2-year-olds. There just wasn't a lot of expectations on him. But when he came in, he just started to, really identify himself as a much better, horse than what $12,000 would suggest in comparison to the, $1.5 million horse that ran, or $2 million horse that ran second, and, the really bred the Curlin of the 50s, so it's like, with that and with kind of the, not as stellar pedigree and just, the knocks you would have against him in that respect, it was a huge accomplishment. I was just so proud of the horse, but it wasn't a surprise to me that he can compete with those type horses. Didn't surprise me at all.
I appreciate that. Whit Beckman is the trainer of Ocelli. He's with us here on GCR as we get ready for the Preakness. With obviously, you know, the big topic of conversation around here this week and the last couple of years, unfortunately, has been, you know, Derby winners not running in the Preakness. And as we point out, there's only 3 Derby horses running in the Preakness. Why did you guys choose to sort of buck the recent trend and say, nah, we're willing to do this. We don't care that it's only 2 weeks. We think the horse is up for it.
You know, growing up in Louisville, you know, being a huge fan of just the Triple Crown and the Derby and everything it took to get into it, like, I can't remember a year back in, say, like the early 90s or in the 90s where, you know, the Preakness wasn't a full field of Derby starters. You know, and that has changed over the years. You know, I think there's probably a variety of reasons we won't get into, but I just looked at the horse. That was kind of my decision after that. I mean, you know, running a horse back in 2 weeks is not that big a deal if the horse is there for you. They get over, you know, races pretty quickly if they have the quality to do so. And he came out with no issues. I mean, looked bright and bushy-tailed the morning after, full of energy, eating his food, just doing all the things that would indicate this horse, say I didn't have a race the day before and I was prepping him for a race 2 weeks later, that I would be happy with. So with that and the nature of the fact it's the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, it's the Triple Crown. You know, it's a series. It's, you know, one of those things. I always said if I had the horse, you know, they could compete in 1, 2, 3 legs, I was going to take him there. So as of right now, he's giving me all signs like things are a go. So we're just going to, you know, it's a grade 1, $2 million race, huge historical event. So it just seems like everything's lining up.
Boy, do I really appreciate everything that you just said, Whit Beckman. Like, the competition part of it, it's like the way that you're thinking about the sport, too, which feels like nobody else is kind of thinking about, as everybody keeps reminding us, there's no commissioner of the sport, there's no organization. Like, it's maybe on the parties involved to care about the sport a little bit and what's good for the sport.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what gives the sport more you know, just interest and more intrigue and more kind of larger than life care of a horse that can go in. Like, you know, we saw in our lifetime finally with American Pharaoh and Justify. And I can tell you, I was there when Justify won at Belmont, and that was the biggest event I've ever been to at a racetrack in my life. I mean, Belmont Park is huge, but I think that's what kind of captures people's attention and really brings people closer in, because it is an extremely tough task. It is not easy for a horse, to compete in 3 races, you know, but it's to win all 3 races is just incredible. So I think for all of it, you know, let's say the Triple Crown, nobody really, you know, you could line people up and ask them about the Breeders' Cup Classic and some other obscure races that are huge in our industry, but nobody knows anything about them. But you say the word Triple Crown, everybody and their mother knows exactly what you're talking about. And I think that's one of the things we probably should do a better job to, you know, capitalize on and cultivate back into something that can really pull people back into a brilliant, amazing sport that, you know, we have a lot of professional athletes that are in our ownership groups, and they compare it all to that, you know, sense of competition they used to have. So it's one of those things that captures people's hearts, captures people's, you know, kind of fantasy, and just it's something that I think when you have the opportunity to become larger than life, you should take advantage of it.
Boy, do I appreciate that. Oh, man, we need you shouting it from the rooftops, Whit Beckman. We could really use that right now. Whit, you've obviously been a part of groups that have won big races, right? Like, you've worked with Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown. What would it mean to you to be the trainer for a Preakness winner?
I mean, it's one of those things that, like, all of these races, they seem that when you start your business so far, but then as things start to kind of come into focus, you build your business, you follow the, you know, the structure and the process that you've learned. I think it's just affirmation that within all of this, if you apply yourself and you give it, you know, 100% every day, that it's possible for anybody. And it's just, to me, it's like the culmination of the career but I used to ask Todd, you know, he'd come in the next morning at, you know, 3:45 right after winning a huge race. And, you know, now it's to the next peak, you know, to get to those peaks is amazing and witness the view from there. But at the same time, you know, it's a march forward. It's about the journey, man, not the process, or not the destination. So it's one of those things you can just sit back and know how much it means to everybody around here. I get more kick out of watching everybody celebrate, like just in that, you know, moment in the Derby when they were just so happy for the 3rd place. Like, that gives me more, and just watching people, how they respond to that. Like, wow, this little horse has never won a race, 70-1, you know, it's just, I think that's what, you know, becomes more of it than me getting, you know, the satisfaction of winning. I mean, I lose most of my races. You know, I love to win, and that's why I want to, you know, continue to, you know, drive to, you know, get better horses and, you know, improve our process and everything. But at the same time, I think it's what it does for everybody else that gives me the, you know, biggest sense of satisfaction and accomplishment.
You think? I mean, obviously, I guess the dumb guy thought would be, given where you were running, does the shorter distance, do you think that this maybe lines up to say we really like our chances on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, if it was a shorter stretch of church, we might have actually won. So, yeah, I think just with the way the race is taking shape, obviously on paper it looks a certain way, you know, and now, you know, when jocks and trainers reforms, everything starts to adjust from there. But if the race kind of plays out, it looks like we should get the right setup, and, you know, hopefully with, you know, a shorter stretch and, you know, maybe a little bit, like I said, save a little bit more ground. I think in the Derby we caught ourselves in a couple places that, you know, we sacrificed a couple feet. I think, you know, when the charts came out, we actually ran a couple extra feet further than, you know, the two that finished in front of us. So with all of that, I just hope, you know, with all this, you can prepare all you want, but you need a little luck involved. And we're hoping we get that luck along with, you know, strict and, you know, just proper preparation.
I'm sorry it's not the full Preakness experience, man, because, like, everything about you and your team, my God, you would be kings of this city. That said, it's still the Preakness, and it's still going to be a special day, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate that you and your team are bringing your horse, one that captivated the country, up here and giving it a run and trying to take leg 2 of the Triple Crown, man. It means a lot that you're doing that. Whit Beckman, it'll be easy to root for you and your guys on Saturday. Best of luck to your horse, and thank you for being here. Appreciate you taking the time for us this morning.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Whit Beckman, trainer of Ocelli. Running a horse back in 2 weeks is not that big a deal, he said. Obviously not an opinion shared by all. Obviously, there are others that feel differently about that, but I greatly appreciate that that is the opinion held by Whit Beckman, and, yeah, the horse that probably has the most attention going in. I guess if we went over it, right, like locally everybody's talking about Taj Mahal, who drew the 1, and in the initial odds yesterday, Taj Mahal, Chip Honcho, who's being ridden by Jose Ortiz, who, of course, rode Golden Tempo to the Derby win, and Incredibolt, who finished 6th in the Derby. Those are your 3 co-favorites, all at 5-1. Now, those numbers will change, and we'll see how the week goes. But then right behind, at 6-1, is where you find Ocelli. And I feel like Ocelli, again, because of the story, still having not breaking the maiden, that viral clip of them celebrating, finishing in 3rd, and what it meant. I feel like all of that.
Me drawing them at Looney's and, like, just how
everybody's been talking about. The entire country has been talking about that.
Yeah.
For all of those reasons, I feel like Ocelli is, like, the horse that's going to get the most attention going into the Preakness. So, given that, I'm very appreciative of the fact that Whit Beckman and his group decided to bring Ocelli to the Preakness, just because it brings a little bit more excitement and a little bit more attention to the race in general. It's not going to make up for the fact that Golden Tempo isn't here. There's nothing we can do about that. Point out Jose Ortiz trying to become the first rider to win the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown on different horses since. Of course, you know. Who am I asking?
That would be, was it his brother, Irad?
It was not Ortiz, who's never won the Kentucky Derby, so it would be very difficult for that to be the case.
Are you sure? Check again.
Yeah. It's a horse that I actually recently brought up. One of the horses I recently discussed when we had Randy Moss on before the Derby. I was talking about a great moment in my life. 2009.
I'm not going to remember the horse name.
Oh, man. 2009. I showed up.
The horse.
Yeah. I showed up. I had never been to the Kentucky Derby before. I got a bug up the ass. I was doing the show with Drew, and I said, what if I went and, like, reported from the Kentucky Derby? And the station owner said, you can do it, but I ain't paying for it. I was like, all right. My wife had talked about it. Like, I just started dating my wife in fall of 2008.
You were married and you just started dating?
No, we were not married. We had just started dating in fall of 2008, and one of the few things I knew about her was that she was a horse. She rode horses. Like, that was what she did. And now she wasn't a jockey. She's an equestrian. But I asked if, like, she was into horse racing, and she was like, yeah, I love it. Like, and I said, huh. And she mentioned that her aunt and uncle lived in Louisville.
Oh.
And I was like, huh. And I just, like, the wheels are all spinning. I'm like, what if could we? I guess. So we decided we would go. And my buddy Mike Gaffigan, who was with the Maryland Jockey Club, got me hooked up with the folks at Churchill Downs. And they were like, by all means, come down, shoot some video. This is in 2009, so we're, like, using a flip cam.
Like an iPod Nano.
Like, legitimately. No, like an old flip cam. Like, that was what we did. It had, like, the you would hit a button, and then a piece would pop out that would plug into your USB. It was wild, man. So we were shooting some video, and we were doing live call-ins to the radio station, and I would, like, grab Bob Baffert and D. Wayne Lucas, and we'd shoot interviews, and then we'd send them back to the radio station for them to play on, like, Bob Haney's show or whatever. So we were having a great time. But when we arrived on Thursday, and the first person I saw when we got off the plane was the great Calvin Burrell. And I love Calvin Burrell, and I believe Calvin Burrell had just won the Derby the year before, if I remember correctly. Hang on, let me make sure I have this right. So I don't. I would be a liar if I said that. Calvin Burrell did not win. What did Calvin Burrell? He had just won something. He won back-to-back Derby, so maybe he won
Florida
the Derby.
Derby.
He won the 2007 Kentucky Derby, and then he would go on to win 2010 as well.
So it's Calvin Burrell.
Yeah, thank you. Nailed that one. So I just bumped into him. I think he had just been on with Drew and I maybe that morning, I want to say. And we were kind of joking about how he had no chance because he had a 50-1 shot. Mine that bird. And I swear to God, I'll never forget.
Name that?
I don't know. And I'll never forget Calvin Burrell said, Mr. Clark, I'm telling you, this horse loves the mud, Mr. Clark. And I don't know if you looked at the weather. You look at the weather? Oh, my horse loves the mud. Loves the mud.
What is the weather this weekend?
I have not looked at what the weather's going to be this weekend. So he's just like, I know you don't think you can win, but I'm telling you, this horse, Mr. Clark, this horse loves the mud.
And that's a spot on?
That's a pretty, I think most people would tell you that's a pretty good Calvin Burrell. So my wife and I that morning, because we're just having the time of our lives. Like, we'd never been to the Derby before. Like, we're soaking it all up. We dressed to the nines. Like, we were all in. We didn't have to pay to stay somewhere, so we're, like, going out and experiencing everything. Some friends in horse racing got us into a big party the night before. Like, we're having the time of our lives. And sure enough, we're there that morning, and I said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but do you want to throw a little bit on Calvin Burrell's horse because he was so and like it was really coming down like on the day of the Derby. So she said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we're like, "All right, I guess." Now we weren't going crazy because again, I was 24 or whatever it was.
You got time to recover.
25. I was 25, 20. I would turn 26 that year. So I was Griffin's age. I didn't have a lot to, like, that's all I had.
You had somewhere to stay that week, so,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I did have to pay for the flights, but back then flights were not, like, we were flying.
You didn't have to take out a mortgage.
Yeah, correct. So I said, like, I don't know, let's just throw $20 or something reasonable. It might have been more than $20. It might have been 25, whatever it was. It was enough that at 50-1, like, if it hit, it was making a difference. But it wasn't like I put $1,000 on it or something like that. So it's raining all day. It's miserable. I mean, it's just a miserable day. And we have access. This is back when, like, you had a media pass. You could go basically anywhere you wanted. This was before they started. Now, the problem was
the horses?
Way too many of us took advantage of that. And so that's why they had to stop allowing you to go wherever you wanted to go. But, like, I'd been to the Preakness every year, and so we would always creep right to, like, the start-finish line to watch the race. And so we're wandering around and trying to figure out where we're going to watch from, and we realized that, like, these boxes are open because it's pouring down rain. People just left. Like, they just It was such a miserable. I mean, it was, when I say miserable, I mean miserable. And then all of a sudden at like 6 o'clock, the sun comes out.
Wow.
So now it's sunny, but the track's still muddy as hell. And we're out dressed to the nines in like legitimately one of the nicest boxes at Churchill Downs down the stretch. Just the two of us. And mind that bird, 50-1. Calvin Burrell rides the rail and wins the Kentucky Derby. It's absurd. Yeah, look how muddy that track is.
Am I allowed to share this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is this
Statute of
17 years
limitations.
ago?
Maybe
Yeah.
skip to the end. Maybe not the whole race. Maybe just a little bit of it. But like, and they definitely don't cut to us. But if they did, you would see
They would think you're the owners.
two people losing their
Yeah, it
minds.
was muddy. Jeez.
Yeah, muddy as hell.
Wow, and he wins by a ton.
Yeah, dressed to the nines, celebrating because we just won like $1,000. Like that's what we won, right? And we probably made a couple of other bets. Like so, we probably I don't remember in the end exactly how much up, but I think we probably came up like $975 or something like that. And we are acting because we're 20. I'm 25. She's 26. Like we're acting like we're millionaires. Like we're losing our minds. And sure enough, the people around us are connected to other horses, and they think that we are connected to Mind That Bird because of how we're acting. And so people just start coming up to us like, congratulations. And at first, I'm like,
known him since he was a colt.
well, at first I'm like, yeah, we just won $1,000. Hell yeah, man. Like, you should be congratulating us. But then they start like asking questions like, how did you know the horse could win? I'm like, well, I was talking to Calvin Burrell the other day. Again, all of these things sound like things that maybe somebody who was connected to the horse would say.
Well, he loves the
Yeah,
mud.
right? And the Calvin Burrell was going on about the mud, right? Like, I think they're asking us about how we won $1,000. They're asking us about winning the Kentucky Derby. And so finally it strikes me that you're really excited about Mind That Bird now. You're going all in on Mind That Bird.
Well, I was just watching wanted to see if they were going to cut anywhere.
Oh, if they cut to see, I mean, you might have. Who knows? But yeah, we were losing our minds and people were coming up to us. And finally it struck me like, oh, they think we're connected. And so I finally had to say like, no. We're not part of the ownership group. We're just dumbasses. That's all we
No,
are.
you're geniuses, it sounds like.
Yeah. But yeah, Calvin Burrell, who then, Mind That Bird ran the Preakness, but Rachel Alexandra, who had won the Kentucky Oaks, the filly, ran the Preakness, and Calvin Burrell had agreed that he would ride Rachel Alexandra because, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of likelihood that Mind That Bird was going to be going for a Triple Crown. And so Calvin Burrell hopped off the Derby winner, instead rode Rachel Alexandra, the Oaks winner,
So
in
who
the
rode Mind That
Preakness.
Bird?
I don't remember who rode Mind That Bird. And I think Mind That Bird finished second in the Preakness. But Rachel Alexandra, the Oaks winner.
So does Calvin Burrell think
indeed.
he could have been a Triple Crown winner if he had
I want to say
stuck
that
with his horse?
I want to say
stuck with
Mind
the
That
first
Bird
horse?
might have also finished like third in the Belmont. Like Mind That Bird from 50-1 in the Derby ended up having a very good run in all three.
Yeah, Mind That Bird was second.
In the Preakness?
Yep.
Hang on a second. And what was Mind That Bird in the Belmont that year? I want to say it was a really good run.
Mike Smith rode Mind That Bird.
That's right. Mike Smith did. Mike Smith absolutely did. Trained by Chip Woolley. Hang on a second.
Third.
Third
Third
Yep.
behind Dunkirk and Summer Bird.
There you go.
Belmont.
There you go. But yeah, that's
Good
the last
run for
time.
Mind That Bird,
Last
yeah.
time a different rider has won the first two legs, or the same rider has won the first two legs of the Triple Crown on different horses, which is what Jose Ortiz has the opportunity.
So Mind That. So I mean, like this again. Like I'm still like kind of learning about horse racing. I guess I feel like, but like you know, Mind That Bird ran 3 races in 4 weeks essentially. The Belmont was June 6th that year.
Well, that was the same.
Yeah, I know, but it just like it is
June 6th.
Yeah,
is that right?
According to Wikipedia.
What would they? I mean, there could have been a really early Kentucky Derby.
Derby was May 2nd.
Yeah, that's how that happens.
Okay.
So there's just an extra weekend in May, and that's the way that ends up happening. It's still it's spaced out correctly. So the Preakness was May 16th, and then it was 23rd, 30th, 6th.
It was
yeah.
yeah.
It was still 5 weeks. It was still the full, distance of a Triple Crown. Because the way you said it, I'm like,
well, just looking at how early like Belmont was.
It's just one of those wonky things.
And the way we're trying to talk about going like 3 months.
If there's a 5th Saturday in May, it can happen that way. And that's as I pointed out, there is a scenario where if they move back the Preakness 1 week, it's not Memorial Day weekend, like 1 out of every 7, because in that year there would be 5 Saturdays in May, and so it's wonky. It's wonky how it works, but every now and then it wouldn't be Memorial Day weekend. Most years have been Memorial Day weekend, but as everyone we have talked to has pointed out, 3 weeks ain't going to make a difference. It's got to be a month. It's got to be a month. And again, at that point, you don't just say 4 weeks. You say, we are going to be the first Saturday in June, which, to the point, would then awkwardly sometimes be 5 weeks, but you don't want to set the calendar by 4 weeks after the Derby, because then you end up with this awkwardness of, well, does that make it the final Saturday of May or the first Saturday of June? And that's just too confusing for an average person. The average person just wants to know the Preakness is the first Saturday of June. That's when it's going to be. However many weeks apart that is from the Derby, it's the first Saturday of June, no matter what. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You're still in on
this. This was the Preakness.
Oh, this was the Preakness. This is Rachel Alexandra winning the Preakness.
And what's
with
his
Calvin Burrell.
Is that him making the run? It was close.
It was close-ish, yeah. I mean, it was Rachel Alexandra was definitely the horse. Yeah. There was no doubt about that. All right, now quickly.
Trevor Rogers activated officially.
Okay, so he's starting tonight. Yes. Very good.
Jose Espada back to Norfolk.
Oh, so what's his face? Butch Walker gets to stick around. Butch Walker from The Marvelous 3. I spend a lot on all the clothes that I got, 'cause all the geeks that song was a jam and a half. Everybody's brought back Teenage Dirtbag, and that's a good one because Teenage Dirtbag was a great song. But the song that hasn't gotten enough of a I don't know what you call this, renaissance, is Freak of the Week by Marvelous 3. That song ruled. What was I talking about? Oh.
Sorry, I cut you off. The weather does look good Saturday. 80
okay.
degrees.
All right, very good.
Yeah. Hot.
How hot?
80.
All day? Like even
That's
at
6:40?
Like or
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's 5 days out, so could be anything.
There's been hotter.
Maybe it will rain.
I mean, there's definitely been hotter days at the Preakness. Now, more schedule notes coming in, and it's creating a very strange possibility for the Ravens. And it's one that, like, you don't want to make too big of a deal about because there are still things that could be in play, but there's a very realistic scenario that's perhaps coming together that would see the Ravens not playing in Baltimore until week 4 of the NFL season. As we know, the Ravens will be on the road. I don't even know. Does the Dallas game, was that supposed to be a home game or was that supposed to be an away game? Are they losing a home game? I think they're losing an away game, I believe. So the Cowboys game is happening in Brazil in week 3. We know that. There's 2 other factors that we also know. We know
yes, that's an away game. The Dallas game is an away game.
That in week 2 of the NFL season, the Orioles are home on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thanks a lot, Orioles.
We also know that in week 1 of the NFL season, there's a rugby match at M&T Bank Stadium on Saturday. So when we saw that day come out, we were doing some of this math back then, and we said, well, there could be options. You could perhaps play on Monday night in week 1. And in fact, one of the attempts at a leaked schedule that was pushed out this week saw a Ravens-Chargers game for Monday night of week 1. Well, the thing about that is the NFL has announced that the Monday night game in week 1 will be Broncos-Chiefs, although bizarrely
they're just giving Patrick Mahomes as much time as he can to be back for week 1.
Bizarrely, they didn't announce which city was hosting the game. It's very strange. Just that it will be Broncos-Chiefs on Monday Night Football in week 1. And then you say, well, maybe it's a doubleheader. No, it's an 8 o'clock game. And so that's the game. Okay, well, the Orioles aren't playing on Thursday night of week 2. So that could be the Ravens' home opener. The thing about that is last night, the NFL announced that the Lions would travel to Buffalo to play the Bills on Thursday night in Week 2, which is odd. I don't think they specifically said that would be the new first game in the new stadium for the Bills. It's still possible.
They did say it would be.
I just saw the way they announced it was. I don't think they announced that.
Well, I mean, I guess
Buffalo will open its new on Thursday night
the way
football.
they're
in
acting,
Week 2.
at least.
All right, the way that Adam Schefter says that would definitely suggest it. Okay, all right. The way that he wrote it, and I don't know, I didn't watch their hype video, so maybe it says that in the hype video too. All right, so that takes that off the table.
Let's watch the hype video.
No, I'm good.
We got a report.
So
we gotta vet
what
this.
would the options be then for the Ravens to play a home game in Week 1 or Week 2? The options would be the following. That while we have written off the possibility of them playing on Sunday, one day after an international rugby match is held at M&T Bank Stadium, perhaps they're not writing it off the way that we are. I don't think it's likely, but perhaps in their world, we can have a crew working all night. As soon as the game ends, we go to work on getting the field set up for football. We're planning on leaving. What you don't know is that we're planning on leaving all the hash marks down anyway for the rugby match. So it's not that big of a deal to us. That feels, I'm just spitballing. It feels insane, but maybe that's a possibility. I guess it's also possible that there could be a Sunday night Week 2 game. Yeah. As we've said before, I believe NBC has the right to flex baseball games into Sunday night baseball in September. So I maybe there's an arrangement where Major League Baseball is told, yeah, but you can't flex this one. But it obviously becomes a far bigger problem if there's like a rain delay. At which case, and which point, is there just a time where you say, well, if we can't play the game by 5 p.m.
So we're looking at the 20th, right? September.
Yeah, that would be right.
Milwaukee.
Sunday of Week 2.
Yeah. That one is scheduled. Wait, is that was what you said?
No,
it is a scheduled Sunday night.
Oh, it's a
baseball
scheduled game. Sunday night game. I didn't even realize
Sunday night
that.
baseball against Milwaukee.
Then forget it. Forget it. Now again, it feels like that's probably going to be flexed out of Sunday night baseball, but it's not an option. Is it an option the other way? I guess becomes the question.
Right.
Do you force NBC? Particularly because that won't be an actual NBC Sunday night game. That'll be
like a Peacock
NBCSN game because obviously football will be back. Do you force NBC to keep that game as the Sunday night game no matter what those teams are doing and say we're playing a 1:00 game?
Or they have two Sunday night games that Sunday. They're like, well, the Orioles will play at 7, and then we want the Yankees to play at 7 as well because they're the Yankees.
Or do they just not care that much if it's not on NBC proper?
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's a Peacock game, do they just not care all that much about what the game is? That part becomes kind of intriguing to me, right? Like the fact that I didn't even think about that being scheduled as a Sunday night game.
I know.
That almost makes you wonder if this was agreed upon in advance. Because there's no reason for that to be a Sunday night baseball game. And the flip side argument is you don't have to worry about a rain delay in football. You play through the rain. So they don't have to worry about the football game. I know
Which means we'll probably get some.
We'd all joke about the Chicago thing from when
Yeah.
the game took 6 hours because of the biblical storms. But like that does make you wonder. Now their Sunday night games are 7:20 games, right? But you don't do tailgating for baseball. Like the problem is for a football game.
Non-baseball fans, yeah.
Thank you. For a football game, you have to have the lots available 3 hours ahead of time. For baseball, you could say, hey, don't get here before 6 o'clock. Now, they don't do 8 o'clock Sunday night baseball games. They do 7:20, if I remember correct, Sunday night baseball games. So that would still be pushing it, but it would be an option for there to be a Sunday 1 p.m. kickoff in week 2, and to say, and we don't do this much in Baltimore. I don't know that we've done it ever. They did once upon a time do lacrosse Final Four when the Orioles were home, and then they decided this is too difficult. We can't do this. But it's possible. It's possible that they say, let's do a Sunday 1 o'clock week 2 game and pair that with the Sunday night baseball game. And we'll see how it goes. And definitely that order would be better than baseball game, which you run the risk of rain delays and the game going 18 innings or whatever. Yeah. Like, it'd be better to do it in the order of football than baseball than it would be to do it in baseball than football. So we'll see. But then there's the other scenario. The other scenario is they just don't play a home game until week 4.
Which means we'll have a long stretch late then?
Yeah, presumably. Or they played 3 straight home games
right
from weeks 3, 4, 5, you know? It will be interesting to see how they handle, like, when they play. Do they immediately get the Monday night game in week 4 to give them extra time to recover from the trip to Brazil? I think will be one of the big storylines that we're looking at on Thursday night. Like, there's definitely no way they're playing on Thursday night in week 4.
Unless.
There's no way.
Just do back-to-back games in Brazil.
But do they purposely build in extra time? Well, they can't do it for both teams, right? Like, it can't be the Cowboys and the Ravens again in Monday Night Football in week 4. So, like, the Cowboys get the Monday night game. I mean, we know they're going to be in prime time every game of the season. Do the Cowboys get the Monday night game in week 4 and the Ravens get the Sunday night game? Like, what do you do? Because this is unprecedented, right? Like, we've never – all of the Brazil games had been week 1 on Friday.
And this is on Sunday?
This is on Sunday.
At like 4 o'clock?
Yes. Okay. So this is unprecedented to have this much I mean, I got to do the math.
Is this like the only 4 o'clock game? Or they're just going to – I mean,
sure, it's the national window, you know, Fox 4 o'clock game or whatever, and CBS. I'm sure it's the national window game. But how do they handle that for these two teams? Do they purposely try to build in more time because buys do not start until week 5, so they can't give them an early? I mean, I guess maybe they could just say, "Ha ha, LOL, we changed that," but that'll be an interesting storyline after Thursday night. So yeah, interesting scenario that's playing out about when the Ravens will play their first home game this year. Ready for a tidbit?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to say congratulations?
No.
I think you should.
You won Mind the Bird?
No, we won trivia last night.
Oh.
Back in the win column.
Sure. Sorry, I didn't get the newsletter.
In the win column. Show a little more respect towards your
you're right, I should.
Your World Series champion.
Are you defending World Series?
No, we did not win that. Well, I wasn't able to be a part of it this past time around, so that
you were in the IL.
Probably has something to do with it. No, we won last night. We won. We were leading going into the final, and then I pulled the final answer out of my ass. It was a radio show, the longest
Clark Radio,
the longest running radio show.
I'm not gonna know this. Howard Stern,
which has aired almost every Saturday since its inception in 1925, is broadcast out of what city? And is named for the building it is broadcast from.
You have to get both right?
No, you only have to get the city.
Oh, you only have to get the city.
You don't have to name the city. The longest running radio show currently.
I don't know why, but I went to Chicago. That was like, probably Chicago.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking about like Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR, but that hasn't been around that long, and it is broadcast out of Chicago. Then we were like, well, maybe there's just some NPR show that's broadcast like out of the Empire. We're now trying to think of like buildings that have existed since 1925. Yeah. Like, is there just some show that they broadcast from the Empire State Building?
It's just it's named after some little tiny building.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it hit me. I said, what about the Grand Ole Opry? And we were all like, oh, yeah. Now, I had no idea, one, the building was definitely called the Grand Ole Opry. I knew it was called, like, Opryland or something like that. But I also thought that maybe it was the Ryman Auditorium, so I was like, I don't know. And I had no idea how long the Grand Ole Opry's been around, but it's been around for a damn long time. And they definitely still do it, so we decided that we were committing, and we guessed Nashville, and we were indeed victorious last night. So,
well done.
Yeah, felt really good about that.
Congratulations, I guess.
The only sports questions, one was very easy. What horse won the Kentucky Derby?
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Golden Tempo.
And what was the name of the trainer?
That would be Cherie DeVoe.
Very, very good. The other sports question was good. What team did these Orioles legends finish their career with?
Oh, come on.
I mean, you really should. You should definitely get 2 easily.
Okay.
You should get all 3. The first, Mike Messina.
Okay, he was a Yankee.
The second, Nick Markakis.
He didn't go anywhere else. Atlanta.
Yes. The third, Brady Anderson.
Did he end in Anaheim?
Did he end in Anaheim? No, he most certainly did not.
Damn. Was he ever in Anaheim?
I don't think he was.
He's
ever.
coaching in Anaheim this year.
That's definitely a thing.
That's why I think.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I was like, I think Brady Anderson played for, and what I confused was the fact that he had played for a team at the beginning of his career. It was only one team after the Orioles.
When did he retire? Do I get that?
He finished in Baltimore. I can tell you. He finished in Baltimore in 2001 because his final game as an Oriole was Cal Ripken's final game. I remember it quite well.
And he wanted to one up.
Actually, his final game in Baltimore was Cal Ripken's final game. Well, I guess technically his final game was an Orioles. Cal Ripken's final game. Yeah. But famously, his final game, Cal's final game in Baltimore, Brady Anderson, he was in the on-deck circle, and Brady Anderson was up and struck out.
So he didn't get another
Cal didn't get one last at bat in Baltimore. Yeah.
What the hell, Brady?
Yeah.
But then I got no clue. Let's go with. He seems like he'd want to go West Coast. I don't know if that means there was a demand for him out there. I'll go San Diego.
No.
Dodgers.
No.
To the Patrick Stevens. Was he a Yankee?
No, but the Yankees did offer him big money when he was a free agent at one point.
Then let's go complete opposite. Milwaukee.
No.
Seattle?
No.
Arizona?
No.
Oh. He went to Houston.
No.
So it wasn't the AL East. He wouldn't have. Boston?
He started his career in Boston. No.
That was what I meant. I always got it confused. Pittsburgh.
No.
Cleveland.
Yay!
I knew it. Yeah.
We went 3 for 3 in that round. We did really well. All right. Tidbit is brought to you today by, this one's brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. We've been talking a lot of horse racing today. Of course, Bill Ordean's got a story about the future of the Preakness on the cover of that print issue of Press Box. It's free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores, any of the locations around town where you find Press Box, and you can read it as well at PressBoxOnline.com.
Pirates have Paul Skeens pitching today, which means they are pretty big favorites. They're playing Miami. Or who are they playing? They're playing Miami. They're playing somebody bad. I forget. Colorado, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're big favorites. It is the line is minus 330 right now. That is the biggest favorite that the Pirates have been since 2005.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, they had a few good years in there. Kind of surprising.
3,300 games.
Any of those Andrew McCutcheon, like Francisco Liriano teams, never.
Cueto or something.
Yeah,
or no,
like
Cueto wasn't there. Who was that? I was thinking them yelling at Cueto.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But anyway, so they just wanted
I
to
actually, for some reason, when you said it, was thinking that he was a Pirate at some point.
Maybe I don't think he was.
No, he was never a Pirate.
Yesterday, though, former Oriole Kevin Gausman surpassed a big milestone, 2,000th career strikeouts.
Holy S, really?
One of 5 active players, 2,000 strikeouts.
Okay. Now I got to think about who's actually active and who isn't, right? Like that makes it a bit more difficult. Like, is Max Scherzer still active?
He is. He's on the IL. 3,500, or 3,499. He's one under 3,500. So yes, Max Scherzer, second most among active guys.
How about?
I think they're trying to get him back soon. Toronto.
Justin Verlander's still active, right?
He is.
Yeah.
He's also in the IL. He threw like 3 innings and then went right on the IL. But they're expecting him back at some point. Detroit is. Yes, over 3,500 for Verlander, number 1 most among active guys.
How about Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole, 2,200. He is top 4.
How many do I need to get?
To round out the top 5, you need 1 more. And then there are 3 other guys that are all over 1,900 if we want to.
Chris Sale?
Chris Sale at 2,600. 3 guys with 1,900.
3 guys with 1,900. DeGrom.
DeGrom at 1,908.
Oh, boy, this is big. Oh, man. That's where my confidence starts running low. I know Kershaw retired.
He did.
Oh, man, I was doing so well. Who's still active?
These guys are very much active. Like they're not only out, like they're pitching for their respective teams. Actually, the one guy might have just been landed on the IL. Actually,
Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola.
Holy crap!
1920. He is 7th. We're looking for number 6 on the list. 1,940 strikeouts for number 6 on the list. This is a tough one.
Blake Snell.
Blake Snell is not in the top.
Damn.
Blake Snell sitting at 1445. He's 17.
Wow, what a loser.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
He's
God, he sucks.
kind of bad.
I knew he was active, though, because he just pitched this weekend. He made his first start of the season over the weekend.
This guy, yeah, he's not on the IL, or he was for a week, but he just came back over the weekend, or last week. He is pitching tomorrow against the Phillies.
Who the hell is playing the Phillies this week? I don't know. Did they play last night?
They did not know.
Who's playing the Phillies? I don't know, man. I don't know who's playing the Phillies.
Battle of teams with battle of 2 teams that just fired their managers.
Oh, it's the Red Sox?
Yeah.
Oh, Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray.
1,940 strikeouts.
All right.
Yeah, he'll be the next. He'll be the next to reach 2,000. He's 60 off.
Okay.
Nola's 20 behind him, and then DeGrom is. I guess DeGrom could catch them both the way he's pitching. But yeah, those are your top 8 guys. My active strikeout leaders.
Oh, that would have been a good guess. Where? Yeah, Dan said Yu Darvish. I didn't even think about Yu Darvish.
Is he? I guess he's.
Is he active? That's a good question. I don't even know if he's active, right? Like if he's.
Let me see what Yu Darvish is up to.
What is Yu Darvish up to?
Darvish.
It's Wikipedia thinks he's active.
No, or yeah. He is on. He is employed by San Diego, but he is gonna miss this season with.
Oh, is that why he doesn't count?
Well,
how many strikeouts does he have? Maybe he doesn't have 1,900 strikeouts. That could also be the issue.
That could also be the issue.
Yeah,
he must have less than 1,200. Is that right?
What?
I know that doesn't seem right. He's not on my top.
Well,
12.
how long has Yu Darvish been? Now I got to think about this. How long has Yu Darvish been in the bigs?
Yeah, I guess because he had a
so long in Japan. Yeah. You know what, Dan? You just might be wrong, brother. Yu Darvish
has no. He has 2,000 strikeouts.
Well, he's been in the big since 2012. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Okay, well then your list sucks. Who else is also
you
on?
Didn't guess Yu Darvish.
You're right. I didn't, but Dan did.
Yu Darvish has 2,075.
All right. Well, you know what, Dan? I take it back. You don't suck at all.
He just hasn't thrown a pitch since. Well, he had 70 innings last year.
Okay. Well, here we are. I don't know what to say. What do we do with this information?
Well, I don't know. Neither of us acknowledged him, so.
All right.
We'll call him inactive.
Cool. Let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Yeah, John from Little Rock asked if Trevor Rogers had the plague. The way that they were describing it, it doesn't sound like it was far off from the plague. It sounded like it was.
Did they say Will Warren or wait? Or who pitched like Weathers? They said Weathers was sick or something as well last week. Yeah, and he lost like a ton of weight.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Made him almost throw a no-hitter, though.
Yeah, didn't seem to impact him that
hopefully Rogers got that same bug then.
Trevor Rogers, indeed, makes the start tonight. He's back. He opposes Will Warren. Game 2, Yankees-Orioles, 6:35 on Masson. NBA playoffs, 2 series that are interesting, 2 series that are over, as the Lakers were swept
Is this
last
the
night.
last? I guess we can save it for around the rim or hanging on the rim.
Yeah, right.
Big,
Probably
big,
not
big
if I
topic.
had to
Big
guess.
topic.
If I had to guess, he'll probably be back.
Where?
That part I don't know. That part I can't tell you. Probably the Wizards, right?
Yes.
Probably.
We're gonna get him. He's gonna follow the MJ path.
You get the number 1 pick. You get the.
That would be awesome.
Right?
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah,
Maybe
Yankees
we will
Orioles,
win 30
6:35 on Madison. The NBC T-Wolves Spurs pivotal Game 5 tonight, 8 o'clock. ESPN's got Sabres Canadiens Game 4 at 7. Ducks Knights Game 5 at 9:30. Everything else, go to GlennClarkRadio.com. Non-sports highlights.
There's a so HBO has a if we want to get ready for the World Cup, they're starting a docuseries, U.S. Against the World, 4 years with the men's national soccer team.
I'll take the world.
Wow, un-American,
I mean, bro.
Un-American.
You go ahead. You put your American dollars on the U.S. to
I
win
got
the
no
World
choice.
Cup. You go right
I have
ahead.
to.
You give me the field. You get the U.S.
But I get a ton of.
What do you want? What kind of juice do you want here?
I want like 1,000 to 1.
I tell you what. If the U.S. wins, I give you $1,000. If anybody else wins, I get 10.
No, that's only 100 to 1, right? That's
okay.
I give you $1.
Okay, you give me $1. I'll give you
I get
$1,000
if the US
You
wins.
got it.
You're a sucker.
Yeah, right.
You're a sucker. I get to root for my team all year too.
You got it.
Or all.
We'll probably
the
do
1 week.
We got to do a draw, don't we?
Yeah, we will have to do that.
Let's
When
do
does
a
it start? Is it June?
What are we doing charity-wise for that this year? Let's think about a charity that makes sense.
All right,
we'll think about it. Yeah, we're not there yet. We're just not there.
There's a one-off the Punisher special on Disney Plus. So they're doing One Last Kill.
Oh right, yeah.
With John Bernthal, and then there's a Martin Short documentary. On Netflix.
He's big into one-off shows right now. I did a one-off episode of The Bear, one-off The Punisher.
Marty, Life is Short. That's on Netflix.
What is that?
The Martin Short documentary.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Oh hell yeah, I'll watch that for sure. Yeah. Way better way to spend my time than watching the roast of Kevin Hart. Ugh. Sucked.
Are you gonna finish? Is that one of the things where
I
finish
yeah,
it?
I probably will, but I'm to understand The Rock pops up at some point,
so
and like
you
half
might
the
be
jokes
wrestling
are about how
Jason?
The Rock wasn't there. I mean, it was the whole thing. Hey, all right.
Is Kevin Hart's best friend, or is that?
I
Are they
guess.
still friends?
I don't know.
They haven't done anything together in a while.
I don't know, man. I definitely didn't watch any of those. I mean, they were.
I think I watched one of them. Central Intelligence. That was bad.
If you say so.
Well, they did Jumanji, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
All right, very good. Thanks today to Whit Beckman, trainer of Ocelli. Thanks also to Britt Ghiroli. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the
Colbert tonight's going to have Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I think I'd go to that tour. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program,
Chris Broussard.
Chris Broussard will join us. We'll talk about where the Ravens are, what they still need
Drew
to
will
do.
be here. He didn't
That's
confirm,
unfortunate.
but I believe
Drew Forrester. He'll want to talk about the PGA Championship.
What happened there? Or the Live not having cameras on their golfers.
So great. And Luke Martin from Johns Hopkins, who made that incredible play we showed you yesterday, the diving ground ball in overtime to save possession and then drawing the penalty. We'll talk to him. He had a great game all around against Cornell as they get ready for Notre Dame in round 2 or in the quarterfinals. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Costas Inn, Baltimore area Highs Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, the Baltimore Orioles, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.